1. First, Gordon's Observation Deck, brought to us by McDonald's and Man's Best Friend.
Well, every Friday at 6:30 in the morning, it's the Bear Trap of the Week. Now, this is when P1 send in their stories of the social bear traps they've stepped in their lives, and we read 3 of them and award someone the Bear Trap Award of the Week. Now, a social bear trap is when you're kind of walking along, and usually it's always you make some inappropriate joke and you don't realize that the joke is as offensive as it is because you're not aware of some biographical details of the person hearing the joke.
You're trying to be cute and funny.
Yeah, trying to be cute and funny, and just you step in a bear trap that was tastefully covered with leaves. All right, our first entry comes from Jerry. Jerry says, I was chatting with a coworker shooting the breeze, and at some point she's telling me about that she and her father were going on vacation. She's in her mid to late 30s, so I start chuckling and say, aren't you too old to have your father take you on vacation? She says, I'm actually taking him on his dream vacation. He has about 6 months to live, and he's always wanted to go to Italy.
How did he recover?
That's a tough one. Well, her father didn't, I don't think.
No, I meant the guy who asked that.
No, he said that he just kind of stopped talking.
Just a general rule. If someone's telling you they're taking some sort of big trip or something like that, maybe give them the benefit of the doubt. Oh, you're going with your dad. You know, just kind of leave it at that.
The thing is, we just reflexively make a comment. You know, we got to fill up the dead space with comments, and so...
But why don't you just, give the person the benefit of the doubt? Oh, okay, I'm sure they have a good reason for taking this trip with their dad. Oh, that's good. You're taking a trip with your dad.
Because everybody's a comedian.
Yes.
And you can't just say that. There's a reason that phrase was created, everybody's a comedian, because everyone wants to get a little zinger in there.
Hey, we've all stepped in the bear traps. I did with Gaylord Perry. Unfortunately, our bear traps are usually aired.
And re-aired.
Yes.
And re-aired.
All right, this is a great one. From Tom in Richardson. He says, like Junior, I enjoy riding my bike around White Rock Lake. But I've rigged my bike to hold a fishing pole so I can stop every once in a while to wet a hook. About a year ago, on just such a ride, I stopped to talk to a couple of my fishing friends to see if they were catching, and if so, what kind of lure they use and that sort of thing. Well, John and Rick, 2 of my black friends, stated that they were doing pretty well and were catching on a small watermelon-covered soft plastic crawdad. Well, I continued to ride around the lake, and sure enough, when I came around the next time, John had a good-sized crowd around and was pulling out a nice 5-pound largemouth bass. As the road at that point in the lake is a good 15 yards from where John and Rick and the crowd and the fish were, I cupped my hands around my mouth and yelled to him, "Hey, did you catch that one on watermelon?" Several in the crowd gasped, and one man snapped his head around and began walking quickly in my direction.
Oh, my.
I tore out of there.
Tore out of there?
His friend didn't save him?
Well, that's the thing. He thinks that his friend saved him after he had left, but he just got out of there.
He didn't want to see...
How offensive is that? The crowd doesn't know that he knows the guys. Right. Doesn't know about this previous conversation.
Curb your enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Larry
Some
David
smart aleck white guy in his bicycle shorts just screaming that out. Oh, gosh. He signs off, "May your pants be with you." Tom from Richardson, Blade's old roommate from West Hall, 84.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Blade roomed with
Horace.
Yeah.
And Tom. Maybe I do remember Tom.
This may be a fake name he's given us here.
No, I think Blade did have a white roommate.
Yeah. Yes. That's funny. What a great story.
Oh, my goodness. So that's a great bear trap there. Now, Mark sends this in, and there's a bonus bear trap in here, okay? One that happened to him, and then he shares another one, and they're both good, so I'm going to read them. Gordon, back in the early 80s, I worked at the Magic Time Machine restaurant. You guys know that restaurant.
On Beltline.
Mm-hmm. Every waiter dresses up as, there's Princess Leia and Indiana Jones, and then some other pop culture figure. It's characters. You dress up as characters. One night, I was walking by a large table, and a bunch of little kids ran up to me. Steve Martin, can we have your autograph?" He was a Steve Martin guy. I had a tray full of drinks in one hand, and there were no flat areas for them to put down their menus for me to sign, so they just held them up, and I tried my best to neatly scribble out several autographs for all the kids. Well, as I finished with the last autograph, the kid said, "Thanks, Steve," and I laughingly said, "You're welcome, kids. Sorry my handwriting makes it look like I'm some kind of retard." Okay, which is offensive. Mm-hmm. Well, instantly, I noticed that the whole table got quiet, and that's when I looked up, and at the head of the table was a mentally challenged child wearing a birthday hat.
Oh, no.
My stomach sunk, and I didn't even bother trying to cover. I just said, sorry about that. I think I'm going to leave now.
That's terrible.
That's causing this music to fade out.
That's why you should just never... The word retard should just never be used anymore.
Yeah.
The second bear trap didn't involve me, thank God, but Bam Bam. Another waiter dressed as Bam Bam. Bam Bam was walking past the soup and salad car, and he noticed a young girl standing in line who looked cold and had appeared to have pulled her arms in through the sleeves of her shirt to keep warm. So this left her with 2 empty sleeves, making it look like she had no arms. Well, he walks up behind her, grabs her by the shoulders, grabs the sleeves, starts flapping them around, and says, "Oh my gosh, this girl has no arms! Where did your arms go?" At which point she turned around and said, "I was born without arms."
Oh, God.
Again, give her the benefit of the doubt. She had a reason for those sleeves hanging down.
His jaw just dropped, and he went in the kitchen and sat in a chair and just stared into space for half an hour.
That's what I would do. You couldn't go back out and show your face.
You have to quit your job. Maybe move.
I think that's the worst one here.
Yeah.
Not a candidate because it didn't happen to the P1 himself, but thank you for making us aware of this horrible incident that took place in our neighborhood. All right, so there are your 3 candidates. We have to vote on which one wins this. The watermelon crawdad at White Rock Lake, the Steve Martin issuing "sorry about my autograph, it makes me look like some sort of..."
Yeah.
And the coworker who was taking her dad on the dream vacation.
I'm going to say watermelon.
Boy, this is a tough one. I think the girl without arms would win, but you're right, not a candidate. Boy, that's a tough one. I'm going to say it's the retard comment.
Yeah, I agree.
Because the watermelon comment at the lake, I think he was eventually bailed out by his friend, plus he was able to ride away.
And they were adults, and this wasn't a birthday party, you know.
Right. But this was...
You're throwing a wet blanket over and will always be remembered for that comment.
Yes. There was nobody that bailed this guy out of the retard comment.
Right.
So I think that's the winner.
All right. So, George, you voted...
I voted for the watermelon just because the other one makes me way too tense. I can't even...
And we vote for the Steve Martin. So, the Steve Martin wins this. Congratulations, Mark. You've won the Bear Trap Moment of the Week.
Way to go.
You, the P1, have a Bear Trap moment that you've experienced. You can email me, Gordon@GordonKeith.com.
Love this segment. Thank you, Gordo. That's the ODEC 640 on Sports Radio 1310 The Ticket.